Do you really think you could survive in prehistoric times? Well, you better think again. Most of the animals could not only grow to enormous sizes, but they were also perfectly evolved killing machines that dominated ecosystems for millions of years. And there is a good reason for why they thrived for such a long time. They were massive, terrifying, and absolutely ruthless. Here are 10 prehistoric creatures you would have absolutely zero chance of surviving. In Cretaceous Africa, 110 million years ago, even the most massive predators like the Spinosaurus knew to respect the water. That belonged to Sarcosuchus, the 12-meter super crocodile that made today's crocs look like house pets. This 8-ton nightmare had a skull packed with over 100 backward curved teeth, each designed like a fishhook to grab and never let go. Its jaw muscles could crush a car, while its armored hide was thick enough to stop bullets. But the real terror was its hunting strategy. Sarcosuchus could lie motionless underwater for hours, looking like a floating log until some unfortunate soul came close enough to drink. The moment you knelt by the water's edge, 8 tons of prehistoric horror would explode from the depths faster than you could blink. Those massive jaws would clamp down with 18,000 pounds of pressure, while over 100 needle-sharp teeth punctured through bone and muscle. Then came the death roll. Imagine being spun underwater by a construction crane while fish hooks kept you firmly attached. But even if you somehow escaped the initial attack, Sarcosuchus could eventually chase you down with short bursts of speed on land, reaching around 18 kilometers per hour for a short period of time. It regularly dragged dinosaurs the size of elephants into the depths like toys. Once those jaws locked onto you, there was no escape from prehistoric Africa's ultimate killing machine. But if rivers were death traps, Australia's ancient forests held something even worse. In Pleistocene Australia, while giant wombats and 3-meter kangaroos roamed the landscape, they all feared one apex predator, Megalania, the largest venomous vertebrate ever at 7 meters long and 600 kilograms of pure nightmare. This wasn't just a big lizard. It was a sophisticated biological weapon. Megalania's meter-long skull housed jaws that could crush giant marsupial bones, but the real horror was its venom delivery system. Unlike snakes with simple fangs, Megalania had dozens of serrated teeth with grooves that channeled a cocktail of deadly toxins directly into wounds. The venom was diabolical. Anticoagulants prevented blood clotting, while tissue-destroying enzymes liquefied muscle and organs. Shock-inducing compounds would send your nervous system into complete chaos. But here's the nightmare. Even if you fought off the initial attack and escaped, you were still doomed. The venom would hunt you down over the next 24 hours, causing massive internal bleeding while paralysis slowly crept through your body. Megalania didn't even need to chase you. It knew you weren't going anywhere. Even other apex predators like giant crocodiles retreated when they caught this monster's scent. There was no antidote, no escape from its biological warfare. But surely the vast ocean would be safer back then than these land-based horrors. Well, absolutely not. In fact, the oceans back then were home to some of the most terrifying creatures that ever existed. While T-Rex and Triceratops battled on land, the Cretaceous oceans belonged entirely to Mosasaurus, an 18-meter marine predator that could snap great whites in half without slowing down. This wasn't just big, it was perfectly designed for oceanic domination. Mosasaurus had a 5-meter skull packed with backward curved teeth that formed an inescapable prison. Each tooth was over 10 centimeters long and angled to prevent any escape once something entered those jaws. The jaw muscles could generate 40,000 pounds of bite force, enough to crush the shells of giant ammonites like they were made of paper. But what made Mosasaurus unstoppable was its sensory system. It could detect your heartbeat from hundreds of meters away and track your scent through miles of ocean water. Those 4 massive flippers could propel its enormous body through water faster than modern speedboats, while its intelligence allowed for complex hunting strategies. Once Mosasaurus marked you as prey, the entire ocean became your prison. There was no depth you could dive to, no surface you could break, for that would save you. It would pursue you with the relentlessness of a guided missile until those prison bar teeth closed around you forever. And of course, Mosasaurus was not the only terrifying ocean predator back then. 380 million years ago, when early life was just learning to crawl onto land, Dunkleosteus ruled ancient seas as an unstoppable killing machine. At 10 meters long, this armored fish didn't compete with anything. It ate everything. Instead of teeth, evolution gave Dunkleosteus something far more terrifying. Self-sharpening bone blades that could slice through steel with 5,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. Its head was encased in thick armor plates that made it virtually indestructible, while massive jaw muscles could snap those bone guillotines shut in just 20 milliseconds. The attack was pure nightmare fuel. Dunkleosteus could bite faster than your nervous system could process, creating a powerful vacuum that would literally suck you into its bone-crushing maw before you even realized you were under attack. Those organic cutting blades would slice through the toughest prehistoric armor like it was tissue paper. What made this creature truly hopeless to face was its invulnerability. Even if you had modern weapons, that bone armor could deflect almost anything. Ancient sharks, heavily armored fish, even other apex predators, all became helpless prey once those bone blades started cutting. Fighting back wasn't even an option against this prehistoric tank. And because I know you can't get enough of prehistoric ocean monsters, here is another one, and one you probably didn't know yet. In Cretaceous seas, Xiphactinus stood out as nature's psychopath. This 6-meter bulldog fish was built like a living torpedo, with jaws making up a quarter of its body length, and a bloodlust that defied explanation. Xiphactinus had a skull designed for pure violence, with massive jaw muscles powering rows of needle-sharp teeth. Its streamlined body could deliver incredible bursts of speed, but what made this creature truly terrifying was its apparent addiction to killing. Fossil evidence tells a disturbing story. Multiple specimens died because they tried to swallow prey too large to digest. This wasn't normal predation. Xiphactinus would continue attacking even when already full, driven by an insatiable hunger that went beyond survival. It killed not just for food, but seemingly for the pure joy of violence. While other marine predators hunted strategically, Xiphactinus hunted like a rabid animal that couldn't control its urge to destroy. When you encountered this prehistoric serial killer, you weren't facing a predator looking for its next meal. You were facing something that killed because it literally couldn't help itself. There was no reasoning with it, no satisfying its bloodlust, only inevitable death by a creature that murdered for sport. But enough of prehistoric waters. On land, pack hunting reached terrifying new levels of sophistication. While massive herbivores like iguanodon grazed in early Cretaceous forests, they lived in constant terror of Utahraptor packs. At 7 meters long and 700 kilograms, these weren't just oversized raptors. They were coordinated killing machines with dolphin-level intelligence and switchblade weapons. Each Utahraptor carried a 24-centimeter sickle claw on each foot, curved killing tools sharp enough to disembowel an elephant with a single kick. Their skulls housed brains capable of complex problem-solving, while powerful leg muscles could deliver devastating strikes and leap incredible distances. But the real nightmare was their pack coordination. Utahraptor groups hunted like military units, using sophisticated tactics that even massive sauropods couldn't survive. They'd surround prey, cut off escape routes, and attack with surgical precision. But here's what made them truly horrifying. They wouldn't kill you quickly. Instead, they'd make calculated cuts to major blood vessels, ensuring you'd bleed out slowly while remaining fully conscious. Once a Utahraptor pack marked you as prey, you were facing creatures that could think like you, but were infinitely better at killing. Their coordinated execution was methodical, inescapable, and absolutely sadistic. And another animal group that might have been just as sadistic as Utahraptor were the terror birds, especially Titanis walleri, one of the biggest terror birds that ever lived. When Titanis invaded North America 2 million years ago, it brought South American killing efficiency to a continent unprepared for such horror. Standing up to 2.5 meters tall, this flightless nightmare competed directly with early saber-toothed cats. Titanis had a skull designed like a medieval weapon, with a massive beak shaped like a pickaxe and powered by jaw muscles so strong they gave it an almost dinosaurian appearance. Those long legs could sustain pursuit speeds of 65 kilometers per hour across any terrain, while razor-sharp talons could disembowel prey with a single kick. What made terror birds truly horrifying was their relentless pursuit hunting strategy. They didn't ambush, they chased victims across vast distances until exhaustion made resistance impossible. Early horses, ground sloths, even young mammoths became regular prey for these feathered executioners that redefined what it meant to be a bird of prey. You couldn't outrun something built for marathon pursuit, couldn't hide from something that intelligent, and definitely couldn't fight a 150-kilogram bird armed with a pickaxe for a face. From what looked like a dinosaur, let's move on to a real dinosaur. In late Cretaceous South America, even massive sauropods lived in fear of Carnotaurus, an 8-meter theropod built like a prehistoric sports car designed exclusively for high-speed killing. Those distinctive devil horns above its eyes weren't for display. They were battering rams that could crush skulls on impact. Carnotaurus had a streamlined body built for pure velocity, with long legs that could sustain around 50 kilometers per hour through dense forest terrain. Its reduced arms meant it killed entirely with its head and feet. But when your skull is a horned missile powered by massive neck muscles, you don't need hands to be terrifying. The nightmare scenario was being chased through prehistoric forests by something the size of T-Rex, but with the speed and agility of a racehorse. Once Carnotaurus locked onto prey, there was no terrain rough enough to slow it down, no hiding place deep enough to escape. When it caught you, those devil horns would drive deep into your body with the force of a sledgehammer, while massive jaws finished the execution. The attack would be swift, brutal, and absolutely final. Death by prehistoric battering ram traveling at highway speeds. But not only the famous dinosaurs, but also most of the mammals were absolutely deadly during prehistoric times. In Eocene Mongolia, while early horses and primitive camels evolved peacefully, they faced the ultimate nightmare. Andrewsarchus, the largest land carnivore mammal ever at around 4 meters long. This wasn't just another big predator, it was a thinking killer that applied superior intelligence to the art of hunting. Andrewsarchus had a skull, nearly a meter long, housing a brain capable of complex problem-solving and strategic thinking. Those massive jaws contained a deadly toolkit, stabbing canines for killing, scissor-like carnassials for slicing meat, and powerful molars for crushing bones. Its bear-like body combined raw strength with surprising speed and endurance. But it wasn't some mindless eating machine. It was an intelligent hunter that would track you for days, set up ambushes, and possibly even use environmental features to aid in kills. When Andrewsarchus decided you were prey, you weren't just facing superior physical power, you were facing superior intelligence applied to murder with surgical precision. But if you thought Andrewsarchus was scary, just wait until you witness the next mammal on this list. In Pleistocene South America, even giant ground sloths the size of elephants lived in terror of one apex predator, Arctotherium, the short-faced bear that weighed 1,500 kilograms and stood over 3 meters tall. This wasn't just the largest bear ever, it was likely the most powerful land predator in Earth's history. Arctotherium had a skull designed for maximum bite force, with shortened facial bones creating space for jaw muscles that could crush elephant skulls. Those long legs could sustain pursuit speeds of 50 kilometers per hour indefinitely, while claws longer than your fingers could tear through any natural armor that existed. What made this creature unstoppable was its combination of size, speed, intelligence, and pure carnivorous specialization. Unlike omnivorous modern bears, Arctotherium was built exclusively for killing and eating meat. Its entire anatomy was refined by millions of years of evolution into the perfect terrestrial killing machine. When Arctotherium marked you as prey, there was literally nowhere on the continent you could hide. It would track your scent for days, outrun you across any terrain, then deliver instant death with jaws powerful enough to crush car engines. Even saber-toothed cats and early humans fell victim to this ultimate prehistoric nightmare that ruled entire continents through pure predatory dominance. These prehistoric nightmares dominated a world where humans simply couldn't exist. From Sarcosuchus lurking in rivers to Arctotherium ruling entire continents, prehistoric Earth was designed to kill anything foolish enough to think it could survive. We can truly be grateful these monsters are extinct, because in their world we wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes. Modern apex predators are house pets compared to these evolutionary killing machines that perfected the art of death over millions of years. But not only were prehistoric creatures absolutely deadly, some of them were so strange that when you see them, you are probably thinking, "What the hell is this?" And if you want to see these kinds of creatures, make sure to watch my latest video right here, where we talk about prehistoric creatures that make absolutely no sense.